Well, Blue Tail opened at 8 to 1, went to 9, now 10 to 1. But Snowy Owl is the 5 to 2 favourite. Gypsy Fiddler 4 to 1, Regal Crest 5 to 1, the Old Firm 13 to 2. On 8 to 1, Ivory Bride. Blue Tail 10 to 1, and Gap then to Pigalle Wonder on 16s. Buster has come back from 25 to 1 to 20 to 1. A Silken Sail 25 to 1, and Poor Old Village Pet still on 50 to 1, the outsider.
I don't think the draw is going to have any effect here in this race, but in the Wokingham later on with that 28 runner field, I think the draw might. But usually the stand side favours a little bit, John, doesn't it?
Yes, in the Chesham Stakes last night with about the same size field, they ran up the middle all the way. Here's Peter O'Sullivan.
Gypsy Fiddler the last in, and they're running. And Gypsy Fiddler quite fast away, so Snowy Owl fast away in the centre, and Blue Tail running very fast too. But it's Gypsy Fiddler disputing it with, on the far side, Village Pet. On the near side is Blue Tail. Pigalle Wonder come just in behind them. But Gypsy Fiddler, John Joe O'Neill's first Royal Ascot runner, is in the lead at the moment. Gypsy Fiddler from Snowy Owl towards the right of the picture. Over on the far side, Village Pet. Making good ground is Buster also. But it's still Gypsy Fiddler as they race down towards the furlong pole. Gypsy Fiddler from Snowy Owl. Gypsy Fiddler and Snowy Owl, a little between the two now. Making good ground is the Old Firm towards the stand side, but it's Gypsy Fiddler on the far side, Snowy Owl on the near side. There's still very little between them. Gypsy Fiddler and Snowy Owl. Gypsy Fiddler and Pat Edery holding Snowy Owl as they race towards the line. Gypsy Fiddler's going to win it at the line. Gypsy Fiddler is the winner, and Snowy Owl is second, and third is Ivory Bride. So what a triumphant start for John Joe O'Neill with his very first runner at Royal Ascot. Pat Edery moves into second place now, close up behind Steve Cawthon in the Ritz Club Charity Trophy, with Steve 5, Pat Edery 4 now, and the result of the Windsor Castle Stakes. First, number 2, Gypsy Fiddler, owned by Mr. Barney Davidson, trained by John Joe O'Neill and ridden by Pat Edery. Second was number 8, Snowy Owl, owned by Sheikh Mohammed, trained by Michael Stout, ridden by Walter Swinburne. Third was number 10, Ivory Bride, owned by Mr. W.R. Stutterford, trained by Mark Tompkins and ridden by Ray Cochrane. Officially it's a photo for third and fourth, but no doubt about the winner.
And the biggest mystery here, how on earth did the winner go out to 4 to 1? John Joe exuding confidence, always dictating the race, although Snowy Owl moved up, and from halfway on these two had the race between them. But Walter Swinburne was the first to look uneasy, has his whip in his left hand here. Pat Edery's gone for his whip too. The two of them have drawn clear, and nothing else has got to blow in, although Ivory Bride runs on from the back to finish third in the dark blue colours and the pink sash. For a moment it looked as though, as Walter pulled his whip through, that the colt might get up to beat Gypsy Fiddler, but no, Gypsy Fiddler was the stronger. He's obviously relished this yield in the ground. Pat Edery has given him maximum assistance from the saddle, and Snowy Owl, who still looked a little bit green, I thought, has been beaten by about a length, with Ivory Bride getting up to be third. Here's the head on, and if you look at Snowy Owl's head, you can see he's just stargazing a little bit as he comes under pressure from Walter Swinburne. Walter here riding with his whip in his left hand, and the two of them have come quite close, with Pat riding with his whip in his right. But there's no real interference. This is where Walter pulls his whip through. He's gone probably about half a length down now. Walter tries to pull it back on Snowy Owl. They have come close, but I don't feel that Walter will claim really that his chance was affected, certainly not to the measure of a length. Winner returned, in fact, having touched 4 to 1, 7 to 2.
Pat Edery returning on his fourth winner at the Royal Meeting, and John Joe O'Neill, the dual National Hunt champion and record-breaking champion, just making his way through the crowd of well-wishers to greet this son of Ban out of Miss Cindy by Man Singh, whom he and and his owner, Barney Davidson, a Carlisle builder, bought so very cheaply at the Doncaster sales for 10,000 guineas as a yearling, having beaten another yearling who cost, well, a 2-year-old now, of course, who cost $300,000, Snowy Owl. Pat, no doubt, giving a favourable account of this unbeaten 2-year-old, behind whom Ivory Bride was officially confirmed as 3rd, and Blue Tail number 9, 4th. Not only as a son of Bern would he appreciate this little bit of cut in the ground, but probably on the dam side as well, because Man Singh liked to, who's the sire of Miss Cindy, liked to get his foot in as well. Surely one of John Joe's happiest moments. Here are the 4 starting prices.
First, number 2, Gypsy Fiddler, 7-2. Second, number 8, Snowy Owl, 5-2 favourite. And third, number 10, Ivory Bride, 9-1. They've suddenly come very strongly for the favourite, Old Vic. It's now odds on again, 6-5 on. Michelozzo is 4-1 against. Carroll House, 11-2. Hasian, 8-1. Charmer, 25-1. And on 50s, 2 of them, Ildaniski and Asati.
And that's it. They're all in on the starters' orders, and they're away. And Michelozzo goes straight into the lead. Michelozzo going on from Old Vic, his stable companion, going up to join him, and Old Vic in fact disputing it now with Michelozzo. Carroll House is 3rd. Hasian racing a little bit wide, but it's Old Vic on the inside of Michelozzo. Then Carroll House and Charmer. Behind them come Assatis, racing very wide of the others. Willie Carson, obviously a deliberate tactic here on Hasian, and not far off the lead either. It looks as though he's in front, but in fact he's very, very wide of the others. Hasian wide on the far side. On the near side it's Old Vic. Just in behind them Michelozzo. Behind Michelozzo a little gap there to Carroll House. And then comes Charmer and Ildaniski and Assatis, and you'll see there that although he looked as though he was clear, Hasian, he's just a little bit behind Old Vic as they pass the milepost. Old Vic on the near side, Hasian, who's race fit, on his far side. Carroll House moving into 3rd. Michelozzo relegated to 4. Ildaniski getting a little bit closer, and they're really going a tremendous gallop, and since sustaining this pace too. Old Vic on the inside of Hasian, but Hasian has taken it up now. Hasian and Willie Carson take it up now from Old Vic. Then on the inside come Carroll House, then Michelozzo. They're well past the halfway mark, racing past the 5-pole. And Hasian from Old Vic. Old Vic moves back to join him on the inside. Assatis, last year's winners, moving up on the outside. On the inside, Carroll House, then Ildaniski. Michelozzo's dropped back to last place with Charmer only just ahead of him. Old Vic on the inside of Hasian as they swing into the straight now. 3 furlongs to run in the Hardwicke Stakes, and Old Vic trying to stage his comeback here with Hasian on his outside. Then comes the Arc de Triomphe winner, Carroll House, making good progress on the rail. Behind them comes Assatis. Michelozzo making progress from the rear. Ildaniski is not done with yet. Under pressure, Old Vic now being passed by Assatis, who takes it up suddenly, and Assatis storms into the lead now. Assatis from Ildaniski. These two have it between them as they stride into the final furlong. Assatis, last year's winner, being pressed all the time by Ildaniski on his far side. Ildaniski on the far side, Assatis on the near side. Assatis holding Ildaniski as they come to the line. Assatis is going to win it. Assatis is the winner, and Ildaniski is 2nd, and 3rd is Old Vic. 4 came Charmer, and 5 Hasian, 6 Michelozzo, 7 Carroll House. And so yet another triumph for the bookmakers here at Royal Ascot as number 1, Assatis, owned by Mr. S. Haroda, trained by Guy Harwood and ridden by Ray Cochrane, wins his 2nd successive Hardwicke Stakes from number 9, Ildaniski, owned by Prince Yazid Saud, trained by Jeff Huffer, ridden by Gary Carter, And third, number 4, Old Vic, owned by Sheikh Mohammed, trained by Henry Cecil, and written by Steve Fortune. 7, Ella Yamu, Ricky Morse. 8, Restore, Paul Edery. 9, Joe Sugden, Billy Newns. 10, Buckus Rose, Michael Hills. 11, Knight of Mercy, Pat Edery. 12, Craft Express, written by Bobby Elliott, who incidentally won this 31 years ago on Golden Leg. 13 is Prophilic, written by Gary Carter. 14, Prohibition, written by Tony McGlone. 15, That's the One, Gary Hines. 16, Ever Sharp, written by Richard Hills. 17 is Bertie Wooster, written by Michael Roberts, putting up 1 pound overweight. 18, Very Adjacent, Dale Gibson. 19, Maznoon, Tyrone Williams. 20, Top Dream, written by Basil Marcus, who puts up 2 pound overweight. 21 is Super Zoom, Jimmy Quinn. 22, Solomon's Song, Nicky Carlisle. 23, Gallant Hope, written by Gary Bardwell. 24, Hannah Marie, written by Willie Carson, puts up 1 pound overweight. 25 is Hard to Figure, written by Darrell Holland. 26, Cantoris, written by Annie Johnson. 27, Amiga Menor, with Chris Rutter putting up 3 pounds overweight. 28 is Let's Be Honest About It, Nicky Adams. And finally, number 30 is Divine Pet, written by Richard Fox. And here's how they bet.
Hannah Marie, the fractional favourite, 8-1, and Plain Fact is second favourite on 10-1. Kay Dara, 12-1. On 14-1, there are 4 of them: Ascot Supreme, Miami Banker, Knight of Mercy, and Bertie Wooster, which has come in 2 points from 16-1. So that's something to think about. Top Dream, 14-1 also. Joe Sugden, 16s, 20-1 bar.
Yes, that's Plain Fact in, and they're all in under orders, and they're away. Breaking fast on the far side, Maznoon, also running fast towards the center. Let's Be Honest About It. Silka Supreme is right up with the lead too. And over on the near side, Amigo Menor running very fast, with Miami Banker just in behind them, and then Bocas Rose. But in the center, come to join him in the center now is That's the One. That's the One in the center, with Silka Supreme right up there too, and under the stands rails, Amigo Menor leads the whole field. Amigo Menor has the advantage from That's the One. Then comes Prohibition, Gallant Hope just in behind them. Hannah Marie is well poised at the 2 furlong marker, and Hannah Marie now is coming to challenge Amigo Menor, with over on the far side Solomon's Song and Craft Express also, and Pat Edery making very good progress in the center on Knight of Mercy, but it's Amigo Menor being challenged by Hannah Marie. Then comes Knight of Mercy. Willie Carson now coming to challenge Amigo Menor. It's Amigo Menor with Knight of Mercy putting in a tremendous run over on the far side. Amigo Menor and Knight of Mercy as they come to the line. Pat Edery has won it on Knight of Mercy. Amigo Menor is second, and third is Hannah Marie. It's a photo for fourth between Bertie Wooster and Bocas Rose. Pat Edery has joined Steve Cawthon at the top of the Ritz Cup Charity Trophy by winning the Wokingham Stakes on number 11, Knight of Mercy, owned by Mr. M.W. Grant, trained by Richard Hannon. Second was number 27, Amigo Menor, owned by Mr. Frank Gunnan, trained by Kim Brassey and ridden by Chris Rutter. And third was number 24, Hannah Marie, owned by Mr. Tony Nurse, trained by Jeff Huffer and ridden by Willie Carson. And it's a photograph for fourth place, a photograph between Bocas Rose and Bertie Wooster. But this is the winner, number 5 at the meeting, number 2 of the afternoon, for the champion Pat Edery, now on the 92 mark, Knight of Mercy, the winner of the 1990 Wokingham Handicap.
16-1. Second, number 27, Amigo Menor, 33-1. Third, number 24, Hannah Marie, 9-1 favourite. And fourth, number 10, Bocas Rose, 50-5-0 to 1. Well, Nabil Dancer, the favourite, 4-1. Dejur and Tigani, 5-1. Argentum drifting a little all the time, 7-1 now. Lagana Beach, 8-1. That's Camino Point. Lagana Beach, 8-1. Mademoiselle's Chloe, 10-1. State of Bless 12s. Ron's Victory, 16s. On 25-1, Boozy and Poyle George, 33-1 bar.
Have a look at number 7 now, one of the market leaders. There he is, Tagani. Ran one of his best races when beaten 2 lengths in the Temple Stakes at Sandown, as we just said, by Dejour. He's a very useful sprinter who can handle soft ground on his day. Last year he ran the race of his life in this race when just failing by a neck to pull back Indian Ridge.
He was second to Dejour on his first appearance this season, Jimmy, and on the altered going, and with the benefit of that race behind him, he could well reverse the placings. Drawn there at number 13, I'm not sure that's a very good draw.
Ray Cochrane looking for a double here today. Well, there is there's a happy foursome coming across there. Canadian geese, and well, we've seen them each year. They come back to nest here, and as you see there, a very proud goose has brought up our little goslings. Well, I think that the race will still unfold up the stands rail. So as John was saying, I think the draw will actually, I think, yes it is, that's Lugana Beach there, and he's had to be looked at the start. As you can see, he's off foreleg, he's just being replated, and well, we've had 2 or 3 of these our last 4 or 5 television shows, so we'll all finish up pretty good farriers if we look in very, very carefully. But believe you me, that is a very skilled job, because if the nail goes a fraction of an inch inside the hoof, that's off of the horn, off of the outside rim of the hoof, it can go into his foot, and inside his hoof he's got his toes, just very much like a human foot, and well, if they touch one of those, it can send a horse very, very lame. Lugana Beach just being reassured, taking it pretty well, John.
Yes, he seems quite calm. One of the stalls handlers just reassuring him, and how marvellously the stalls handlers do their job. We've had quite a few examples of that at this meeting. You may remember yesterday, before the Norfolk Stakes, Pat Edbury's mount, Distinctly North, was rearing up in stall 1, and over on the far side, Steve Cawthon's mount, Lion Engage, was also rearing up, and the handlers are up in the stalls and giving assistance just in a matter of a split second.
Agree with that, John. They do a great job. The rain still coming down quite steadily here. And there you see Michael Kinane off of Paley Prince, trying to keep himself warm. Yes, and I think we may have got the horses mixed up there. It might have been Paley Prince actually that was having his plate put back on. Yes, and I think Peter's saying that he thinks we're correct now. I think it was Paley Prince which in fact was being reshod. Should have spotted that myself, because Paley Prince has been declared to run in a visor, as Lugana Beach is declared to run, you might say, head free. Well, on the far side, walking away from us, is Mademoiselle Chloe, and this is the one that Peter was telling us about. A lot of money, £1,000 laid at 20 to 1 on this filly, and also at 14 to 1. So the bookmakers, Victor Chandler's going to take a bit of a bashing if this filly puts her head in front. And also a jockey change. Michael Roberts has been put in, and Kevin Hodgson comes off. And, well, she ran her best race for some time when third in the Duke of York Stakes. She was only a length and a half off the winner, Lugana Beach, and she was doing her best work at the end, and that was over York's stiff 6 furlongs. So I would say that the 5 furlongs, the very hard 5 furlongs here, is going to suit her a lot. She doesn't mind soft ground either. She's won 3 of her 4 starts last season at Newcastle, York and Ayr. So she's not a bad type of filly, this. And I wonder if they're going to regret that they've given 20 to 1 and 14s this one, John.
She was very impressive when winning a listed race in soft ground at Ayr last year. She's drawn 2. Well, if it's like the Wokingham and the race unfolds on the stand side, that's a good draw. Most of the runners being kept very much on the move in these bad conditions. There's not raining anything like as hard as it was a few moments ago.
There's number 12. This is the French invader, Ron's Victory. He's trained in France by Alain Fallord. And he beat Nabil Dancer by a length and a half at Longchamp, in fact. That was back in Bay. But Nabil Dancer gained his revenge when beating that rival by 5 lengths at Chantilly. But the day that, in fact, Ron's Victory beat Nabil Dancer didn't have blinkers on, John.
No. Number 12, as you say, Ron's Victory. Quite a few of the runners are in the stalls. Ron's Victory easy to identify in running with that white face. That's a great help to race commentators.
Come along, jockeys.
The jockeys just being hurried along. Some of them are hanging out at the back. Nabil Dancer is 4-1. Dejur and Tigani both at 5-1. 7-1 bar the 3.
Well, waiting to go in still. There's a number of runners. Well, it was 23 years ago. Chestnut Head greeted the judge here in this very race, 1967 in fact, and that was a very good sprinter, a very great sprinter called Be Friendly. It was owned by none other than Peter O'Sullivan. There's £57,342.60p goes to the winning owner here. Peter, what have you done with yours?
Well, James, in those days it was worth just 5,000. Not that I had any regrets, just enabled me to support the bookmakers and other deserving causes over the years. And funnily enough, it was very similar conditions that Be Friendly won in. Absolutely appalling day, and one of his victims was a French horse, Yours. Also Falcon, ridden by Lester Piggott. Scobie Breesley rode the winner. And in the papers, the one that's giving quite a bit of trouble out at the back. This is Argentum in the foreground. Michael Wigham just going to be given a leg up again on in the papers. The others, most of them waiting patiently. That's Dejur. In the papers, due into stall number 1. It'll be nearest to us. Top 3 in the betting. Nabil Dancer 7-2, Tigani 9-2, Dejur 5, and Argentum 7.5. This is Dejur. Then Dancing Music. Dancing Music will be the last in. You probably heard Judy Grange. That's it. Royal George breaks fast over on the far side. Also Dancing Music. Dancing Music showing very good speed over on the far side. On the near side, Ron's Victory and Dejur. Dejur on the near side from Ron's Victory. And Nabil Dancer just in behind the lead. It's Dejur in the center. Ron's Victory showing there with his white face. Then comes Boozy towards the outside of Dejur. Nabil Dancer in behind them towards the stand side. Dejur with the advantage from Nabil Dancer on the near side. Laguna Beach putting in a run also, but it's Dejur the leader from the white face. Ron's Victory in the center. Dancing Music over on the far side. Laguna Beach getting the better of Nabil Dancer over on the stand side, but it's Dejur as they race into the closing stages. Dejur is going to win this well as they come up towards the line. Dejur has run away with it. Dejur is the winner. Ron's Victory is second. It's going to be a photo of a third between Laguna Beach, who probably just beats Royal George, with Mademoiselle Chloe next. And last, in fact, was the one that played up in the papers. So, first, number 11, Dejur, owned by Sheikh Hamdan Al Maktoum, trained by Major Dick Hearn and ridden by Willie Carson. Second was number 12, Ron's Victory, owned by Mr. J.S. Moss, trained by Alain Fallour and ridden by Tony Cruz. And a photo for third place, a photo between number 1, Laguna Beach, ridden by Steve Cawthon, and number 4, Poyle George, ridden by John Williams. It's close for them for this important, significant third prize, but no doubt about the winner. And didn't he run away with it? De Jure.
And the change in the ground had no bearing on De Jure because he splashed through what's only just surface water after all, and he's put up really an exhilarating display to win. There he is in the centre of the course, Willie Carson with his hands full. Meanwhile, Pat Hedder on the stand side on the favourite, already going for his whip and starting to struggle. Alongside him is Laguna Beach and Steve Cawthon, and Steve already going for it as well. His horse runs on well. The French challenger Ron's Victory just switching to the right behind De Jure there, but he had every chance. His rider Tony Cruz just deciding to challenge on Willie Carson's outside, and the two of them have drawn clear. The two on the stand side, Laguna Beach and Poyle George, who runs on really well, also in the Royal Blue colours, to share the photo for third place, the two David Ellsworth runners. But look at De Jure go away. This is a brilliant performance, a sprint championship performance. He's won in the end from the flying French horse Ron's Victory by 2.5 lengths, with the third horse, whoever he is, a long way back. And this rather exploded our theory about the ground being best on the stand side, because Willie Carson's come up, well, the centre of the course, the left of the centre of the course, and perhaps there isn't really a great deal of difference in the draw at all. Perhaps those were the best horses in the Wokingham Stakes who were running up the stand side. But Willie Carson, who keeps horses running straight better than anyone, up the middle of the course at Newmarket, the middle of the track at Ascot, and this horse has run as if he's on tram rails. You can see, in fact, though, from the cut of the grass, just as I said, that he jinks a little bit to the right there. But Tony Cruz, there was no real reason, I don't think, for him to pull round on Ron's Victory. Meanwhile, on the right, you can see Laguna Beach and Poyle George in the blue colours with the light blue sleeves coming, challenging to compete. Well, that's him on the left, in fact, finishing best of all, Poyle George. But way up front, De Jure goes away for a dazzling win in the Kingstown Stakes. The winner returned 11-2.
What a fantastic double for the owner there, Sheikh Hamdan Al Maktoum, to win the most significant long-distance race here at the Royal Meeting, and now the most significant sprint. Winner of the Gold Cup yesterday with HRL, and now the Kingstown Stakes with De Jure. Willie Carson's second winner of the Royal Meeting, 64th of the season. Winners here of 55 races between them. A real scintillating performance by this winner. It was by Danzig, one of the stallion revelations of the moment. A Northern Dancer horse, of course, and this De Jure is out of Gold Beauty by Mr. Prospector, who features in so many winning pedigrees. There's the proud owner with his horse there being congratulated. And the outcome of the photograph for third place. Third was number 1, Laguna Beach, and fourth, number 4, Poyle George. So, just to recap, the winner, number 11, De Jure. Second, number 12, Ron's Victory. And third, number 1, Laguna Beach. Fourth, number 4, Poyle George. The starting price is as follows.
First, number 11, De Jure, 11-2. Second, number 12, Ron's Victory, 14-1. And third, number 1, Laguna Beach, 8-1.
13-8, Teamster, Weld and Sadim joint second favourites at 5-1. Tyrone Bridge 13-2 and 14-1 bar the 4. So It'll be a big surprise to the backers if anything other than the 4 on the screen win. But on the other hand, in these conditions, you can get a turn-up. Mountain Kingdom, much travelled. He's been to America and Australia. Always gives a good account of himself, but he was made to look very slow at Sandown last time in the Henry II Stakes, when beaten by 4 lengths by Teamster, who not only beat him by 4 lengths, but won pulling up on the bridle and could have won by as far as he liked. But Mountain Kingdom looks really well, one of Clive Britton's 2 runners, the other being Cossack Guard. Both ridden by South African jockeys. This one we're looking at now, Mountain Kingdom, the mount of Basil Marcus, whereas Michael Roberts has the ride on Cossack Guard. Number 11, Chelsea Girl. She's a rank outsider. She's run very well in some handicaps, but was well beaten by Teamster at Sandown. Number 5, Cossack Guard, just behind Chelsea Girl. And I think that's nearly it. We've got one more. This is Noble Savage. Not a bad horse. 2 more, in fact. Noble Savage, although presumably the pacemaker for Sadim, has put up some good performances, notably when winning a Newmarket handicap with 9-10. 13-8 the field. Over to Peter O'Sullivan.
2.5 miles to run this time. Right out in the mist they are at the moment. And as they break, it's the Sadim team that set the early pace, with towards the left there Cossack Guard taking it up from Noble Savage towards the right of the picture, the near side to us. Sadim not far behind them. Over on the far side is Turgeon and Ashal right up with them, the sheepskin noseband. And Noble Savage going on now from Ashal and Cossack Guard, and then Sadim and Turgeon. Then Tyrone Bridge, behind him is Teamster. The back marker at the moment is the Thing About It Is. And Noble Savage ensuring a real good gallop in this 1990 Ascot Gold Cup from Ashal in second. Then comes Cossack Guard on the inside rail. Towards the left is Turgeon. Steve Cawthon having great difficulty in settling Weld, who's very fresh on his first outing of the season. He's just about got him settled now. And still Noble Savage cutting it out from Ashal and Cossack Guard and Sadim and Turgeon. Behind them, Weld, he's back taking it, the crowd calling. He's grabbed hold of his bit again, and he's just refusing to settle with Steve, who's got Tyrone Bridge on his inside, Teamster on the rail, Chelsea Girl next, followed by Mountain Kingdom. The Thing About It is the back marker of the 11 as they begin to swing right-handed, and they'll shortly have 1.5 miles to run, with Noble Savage the leader. From Ashal on the inside then is Cossack Guard. Behind Cossack Guard, Sadim, Turgeon, then Weld. On the inside of Weld is Teamster, then Tyrone Bridge and Mountain Kingdom. And finding the pace hot at the moment is the Thing About It Is and Chelsea Girl, as Ashal goes on now. Ashal the leader, from Turgeon going second. Then comes Cossack Guard on the inside. Noble Savage has dropped right out of it. Sadim is fourth. Behind him comes Teamster, then Tyrone Bridge and Weld. Behind Weld is Mountain Kingdom, and then the Thing About It Is. And behind him and some way behind is Chelsea Girl. Racing down into Swinley Bottom, Ashal still the leader, from Turgeon for France. Then comes Sadim, with Cossack Guard holding his place at the moment. Teamster next, then Tyrone Bridge quite close to the pace. Then comes Mountain Kingdom. Behind Mountain Kingdom is the Thing About It Is, getting a lot closer now. Ashal still the leader though, from Turgeon. Weld is losing ground at the moment, and in fact dropping right out of it. Weld is right out of the Ascot Gold Cup, in which Achal is the leader from Turgeon for France. Then comes Sadim on the inside. Teamster's making very good progress, and so's Tyrone Bridge now. But still, Achal the leader from Turgeon in second. Teamster third. Tyrone Bridge is fourth now. The thing about it is, and Pat Edery getting closer to the lead all the time. Half a mile to run. Achal the leader. Turgeon is second. Third and fourth are Tyrone Bridge and Teamster. Fifth and still getting closer is the thing about it is, as Achal runs the home turn with the advantage by 2 lengths from Turgeon for France, then Teamster, then comes Tyrone Bridge, and then the thing about it is 2.5 furlongs to run. Achal has gone clear of Turgeon. Tyrone Bridge improving towards the stand side. Teamster over the far side. The thing about it is trying to get on terms with them, but still Achal with the advantage. The thing about it is burst through into second. Tyrone Bridge on the near side, still plugging on. Achal, though, is clear as they race into the final furlong. It's Achal from the thing about it is, and Tyrone Bridge. Achal now from Tyrone Bridge, who's the challenger, but Achal is going to hold them all as they race to the line. Achal wins the Gold Cup. Tyrone Bridge is second. It's close for third between the thing about it is and Teamster there in a photo, but no doubt about it, Achal has won it from Tyrone Bridge, and a close photo between the thing about it is and Teamster. Turgeon came next, and the rest are really finishing as though they've competed in a 3-mile chase. Really strung out the result of the 1990 Ascot Gold Cup. A shock victory for number 4, Achal, owned by Sheikh Hamdan Al Maktoum, trained by Tom Jones and ridden by Richard Hills. Second was number 9, Tyrone Bridge, owned by Mr. Paul Green, trained by Martin Pipe and ridden by Pat Shanahan. And third, a photograph between number 7, Teamster, and number 3, The Thing About It Is. But this is the winner, Achal by Touching Wood out of Johara by Exclusive Native. A great triumph for Sheikh Hamdan and for Tom Jones. What a way for Tom to get off the 13 mark this season. His 14th winner, and Richard Hills 18th.
And in jumping conditions, the former National Hunt trainer Tom Jones scores one of his great successes on the flat, with a horse who stayed and outstayed the opposition without ever looking like being caught in the straight. Richard Hills threw down the gauntlet. Before halfway, he took the lead. They were queuing up behind him. Turgeon looked a threat coming into the straight in the white colours, but he couldn't produce any more. Teamster had a good position in the last part of the race, but once again, Walter, when he asked him, there was nothing more there in the tank. The thing about it is the grey horse came from way off the pace, and he looked a threat for a moment. And on the outside, Tyrone Bridge, representing Irish classic form, he came with every chance in the straight until the leader increased his advantage, Achal, inside the 2 furlong marker. The race was beyond recall now, and Achal, the son of Touching Wood, whom Tom Jones trained to win the St. Leger, keeps his advantage of 4-5 lengths in front of all the pursuers. A marvellous training performance. Richard Hills rode him with all the confidence in the world that he'd get the trip, and this ultra-consistent horse has won the Gold Cup in the mud with ease at 14-1.
Yes, they're washing out the punters in the wet here at Ascot this afternoon, but what immense satisfaction this triumph will have given Tom Jones, who, as Julian said, trained his sire, Touching Wood, to win the Leger, and of course a marvellous victory for Sheikh Hamdan, who owned Touching Wood. It'll give him just that extra edge of pleasure to see his son, Achal, battle on so stoutly to win this £83,000 Gold Cup in the Nashwan colours, of course. This son of Touching Wood out of Johara by Exclusive Native. Wonderful triumph for Richard Hills, number 18 of the season for him, and as I say, puts Tom Jones on the 14 mark. Cracking good run by Tyrone Bridge. Great credit to Martin Pipe he was. But nothing really looked like getting to the 1990 hero. Once they turned into the straight. Disappointing to see well pulled up. Let's hope he's sound. Steve obviously felt that he just wasn't quite right. Had a lot of training difficulties, and this is his first outing of the season.
Here is the result of the photograph for third place.
Princess Royal, an interesting spectator in the unsaddling enclosure. And she'll have heard the announcement that number 3, The Thing About It Is, was officially placed there. The Thing About It Is, owned by Doublet Limited, trained by David Ellsworth and written by Pat Eddery. It was an important photo, that, because it's 11,917 to the third and 4,800 to the fourth, and the fourth was in fact the favorite, number 7, Team Star. And the starting price as follows.
First, number 4, HRL, 14 to 1. Second, number 9, Tyrone Bridge, 7 to 1. And third, number 3, The Thing About It Is, 20 to 1.